Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good morning, everyone. It's August 15th, 2018. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing? I'm here at DC Clothesline, or DCDirtyLaundry.com. Deranged Left now claims that only white people can be racist, even as their own bigots call for mass genocide killings of whites. Sarah Jian, or Win Sarajian, the newest addition to the New York Times editorial board, tweeted about how much joy she gets from being cruel to old white men. This disgusting statement wasn't actually racism, because only people with white skin can be racist. This is the latest absurd claim of the uber deranged left, which has issued a complete pardon to Jian for all of her anti-white hatred, insisting that it's actually somehow white people's fault that she feels this way in the first place. Jian's many other anti-white tweets, including one about how white men are bullshit, and another stating her desire to cancel white people, are simply no big deal because Jian is an Asian female, which means nothing she says or does can ever be construed as racist. The so-called rationale behind this blatant double standard is that in order for a person to be racist, he or she has to have prejudice plus power. And to leftists, the only people with power in this country are white men, which makes them the exclusive perpetrators of racism. As the logo goes, or logic goes rather, only white people can be racist because only white people have social and institutional power, explained Matt Walsh in a recent piece for the Daily Wire. Leftists are the real fascists who say that the only people you're allowed to hate are white people. There's no arguing that such a sentiment is patently false, seeing as how there are plenty of people who aren't white men who hold positions of power and authority. A few prominent examples are celebrity television personalities Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres, and I said that wrong on purpose, neither of whom are white males. Reports also indicate that there are now more women being accepted into colleges and universities than men, which means females technically have the upper hand in education, but leftists live in a fantasy world of their own delusional making, and couldn't care less about facts that get in the way of their anti-white narrative. For the purpose of justifying Jian's hiring at the New York Times, the left cult has basically reinvented the definition of the word racism to exclude the many racist leftists like Jian who hate white people. If you're white and liberal, you support the genocide of yourself and others with your skin color. It's a completely illogical position, seeing how there are white people who are poor and black people who are rich, for instance. There are also Asian women who, like Jian, who've been granted power and authority, while thousands of white men work as janitors just to put food on the table for their families. Claiming that historically oppressed people cannot be racist is akin to claiming that poor people can't be envious, says Walsh. Indeed, leftists indoctrinated into Marxist thought probably would make that claim. Their goal is to remove sin from the poor and supposedly oppressed and transfer it collectively to the supposedly privileged. Meanwhile, these same liberals are being collectively triggered by President Trump's recent response to false accusations made against him by LeBron James, whose Trump derangement syndrome erroneously caused him to tweet that the president himself is racist. Liberals have weaponized the allegations of racism while creating a definition of the world that absolves themselves of the charge while ignoring the racist past of the Democratic Party and the progressive movement, commented Derek Hunter for the Daily Caller about the issue. Be sure to check out this revealing interview between CNN's Don Lemon and CNN contributor Simon Sanders, the former press secretary for Bernie Sanders, who openly states that white people are the only people who can be racist, letting Jiang off the hook. And this anti-white shit, it really did begin during the 1960s and through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It didn't have much traction except for with those people who listened to certain rap music and read certain types of books. After the internet became popular, though, this ideology began to spread, and here we are today. And they really are calling for the genocide of white people. And I fear that if South Africa begins a genocidal movement on the whites there, that African immigrants, along with African Americans, will be emboldened, and they too will begin to attack white people on a much larger scale than we are experiencing now. I don't have a problem with other races, okay? I don't. But when you're trying to kill off another race, it becomes the responsibility of those within that race to begin defending themselves. And if we don't begin to defend ourselves, then our race will eventually be extinct. So, anyway, I thought I'd share this with you because there's a lot of this going on. It's getting worse and worse and worse as time goes on. And, well, Antifa is calling for a civil war. We have people calling for a race war. We have the media trying to incite both. So there's no reason to think that these things won't eventually happen. Anyway, hope everyone has a great day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.